Grape Street wears purple.
Purple.
And can you tell us how did that come about and what's the
Well,
history?
yeah. I mean, early on there wasn't no color because we was all considered Jordan Down Crips
Yeah.
because of the history of Tookie and the history of a lot of our older homies who had adopted, you know what I'm saying, that culture, you know what I'm saying. So majority of our guys were considered Crips. So before it was Grape Street, we was called Jordan Down Crips.
Okay.
Then within the Jordan Downs, you had a bunch of splinter groups because the housing project developments is, I mean, you talking about a square mile area where we only had 700 housing units, but it was over 10,000 people living in that one designated area when we was coming up, and the majority of it was black and poor and living in poverty. You know what I'm saying? So that side of the tracks was considered Crips. So before Grape Street came involved, we was considered Crips. And so when I went to Markham in the early '80s, we was considered JDCs, Jordan Down Crips.
Okay.
And Grape Street was more like a Hispanic neighborhood gang, and they was off the street, Grape Street. You know what I'm saying? And so that's where the Grape Street had came from. It was Vadio Grape, and they was considered like Southsiders back in the days. And it was historical Chicano families who had that. Then you had a few black families that was affiliated with them because once you grow up in these neighborhoods, black and brown neighborhoods, you have the affiliation. So there was no relation other than affiliate with just the culture itself. And so Grape Street eventually, became the gang that represented the neighborhood because Jordan Downs is also on Grape Street. You know what I'm saying? So, but like I said, Grape Street came on during the early '80s also, and a lot of our guys from the Jordan Downs, who was Jordan Down Crips, ended up becoming affiliated with the Grape Streets. And so back in the days, everybody used to throw up C's. You threw up the W or you threw up C's because we was Crips. Yeah. And so during the late '80s, that's when the purple rag was introduced, to our neighborhood, by one of my young comrades, who brought the purple rag to the neighborhoods. And so from that, a lot of us started affiliating with the purple rag. And then we went
So
from...
do you know who was the person that brought the purple rag?
Yeah, we call him Louis Ten Trey.
Louis Ten Trey. Louis Ten Trey, is he still alive?
Oh yeah. He's definitely still alive. So he's a young brother that ended up moving into the Watts community, ended up going to Jordan High, and eventually, he was one of the guys that brought the purple rag, to the neighborhood, and that purple rag became synonymous for us because when we was growing up, like I say, the colors wasn't really established, even though there was red and there was blue. Many of us who even was considered Crips had different colored rags based upon the cliques we belonged to. Because in the housing project development, everything wasn't unified like it was when we became Grapes, because we was all considered Crips, and you had different factions of the Crips. You had in our neighborhood, you had the ESKs, you had the Young Hustlers, you had the Baby Lokes, you had all these different factions, and everybody had their own clique. And then everybody sometimes wore different color rags, so the rags wasn't all unified like when we all adopted the purple rag. So you had people who wear white rags, black rags, light blue rags. You know what I'm saying? They would wear different colors and stuff like that because it wasn't established. You know what I'm saying? Up until the late '80s, that we all adopted. You know what I'm saying? The purple rag. You know what I'm saying?
So now there's no more Jordan Down Crips. That's all now Grape Street.
Yeah, everything's Grape Street now. Because about in '86, I think that it was like how you say it was more like a big initiation that took place during that era, where all the different with Grape Streets and the older homies and the young homies who were considered Baby Lokes started initiating. Well, they didn't start initiating. We was forging the oneness in the neighborhood up under the purple rag. So all the other different cliques that was in the neighborhood. Everybody had to join up under one banner. So during '86, it was a big old movement going in the neighborhood, and all the different cliques had to fight one another. You know what I'm saying? And either join or leave the project. So Jordan Downs and many of the other gangs started affiliating. You know what I'm saying with Grape during the mid '80s.
Okay.